Welcome to the Tower of London, and welcome in this video to the Beauchamp Tower, which is within the inner part of the Tower of London. If you remember from previous videos, there's an outer wall which we've walked around, and this is on the western side of the Tower of London and is on the inner part of it. And as you can see, this was actually built in 1280 and hasn't been reconstructed since then, unlike a lot of the Tower of London, which has burnt down at various times and been rebuilt. In some of our previous videos, we've covered the different palaces at the Tower of London. In this is probably what most people think of the Tower of London about. It was used as a prison. So whilst it wasn't constructed as a prison and there were no prison-built cells, prisoners were squeezed into anywhere. And the Beauchamp Tower, to the west of the Tower Green, is part of the inner defensive wall, which was built originally by Henry III and Edward I around the time of the White Tower. The tower gets its name from Thomas Beauchamp, who was the Earl of Warwick, who was imprisoned there, yeah, absolutely, a prisoner, at the end of the 14th century. Now, it's been used to house prisoners off and on throughout its history, and its walls are covered in graffiti, which they've left behind, which we'll show you during the course of this video. Now, the Beauchamp now contains an exhibition that gives an overview of the prisoners at the tower, which is the exhibition which you'll see in the middle of this section here on the ground floor. Now, what I love about a lot of the different buildings within the Tower of London are these big open brick fireplaces, and the original brick fireplace would have been much bigger than this, but this would have held the roaring fires to keep people warm, prisoners or not. And interesting, here to the left you can see a little bit of the graffiti. There's lots of it around, and if you haven't seen our video on the southern battlements, that's the towers and the south of the Tower of London, then you need to check out the Salt Tower within that, because that's got lots and lots of graffiti dating back to the 1500s from the prisoners that were kept in there. Seems to be a theme around the Tower of London. So if you're coming here with some older children and you want to experience the prisoners and who was actually kept here and the executions that happened, then you definitely need to head to here, the Beauchamp Tower, because this gives detail more about it. Although there are other places within the tower that you can visit for this as well, this gives more of the detail here at the Beauchamp Tower. It's incredible because as you walk around this tower, it's not hard to imagine this tower as it would have been 700 years ago when it was created, with the original brickwork here, which is incredible. And I love this. You can't go down there, but just do, if you get a chance to come here, just have a look down some of the corridors which are gated off, because it just gives you that feeling once again for what the tower would have been like. The tower's got two different floors that you can access, but the absolute beauty is if you're coming in here, you can really go back and feel what it was like going through the narrow corridors, just like we are here, but then going up the staircases as well. And look, just when you go through, I had to duck quite a bit, otherwise I would have knocked myself out. But once again, you've got graffiti all around from the prisoners, dating back to the 1500s. So you've got to have a good look around to see where all the different bits are and who it relates to as well, because they give you that detail. And then you can go up this staircase as well, which is hidden around the back. It's not hard to see why many people miss this staircase taking you up to the second floor, but once again, it's a narrow one. So if you're coming here with accessibility concerns, you won't be able to get up here. There isn't a lift or anything that will bring you up here, so I just thought I'd let you know that now. Also, if you've got young children, you might want to think twice about it, because actually, as you can see, the stairs go tight round here, but also they're quite steep as well. Right, let's get into the first floor. So a lot of the inscriptions that you're going to see up here, as you saw downstairs, date to the 16th and 17th centuries, when political and religious instability combined to establish the tower as the foremost state prison in the country. The issue was, when the power lay exclusively within the upper ranks of society, it was virtually impossible to be a nobleman without committing to one particular side or another, and the acutely tetchy Tudors were particularly keen to keep their rivals to the throne locked up. Now, there were genuine causes of concern, and the Tudor dynasty's claim to power was notoriously weak, and bringing the Reformation to England didn't help the stability. So, being a Protestant or Catholic became not only a statement of conscience, but also frequently a declaration of political allegiance. There were plots to replace Mary I with Elizabeth I, and the plots to replace Elizabeth I with practically any suitable Catholic alternative. Philip Howard, Earl of Arundel, was imprisoned in the Beauchamp Tower for 10 years by Elizabeth, for no other obvious reason than being a leading Catholic peer in the country. Under Elizabeth I, it was illegal simply to be a Roman Catholic priest in England, and many were arrested and charged with treason. Some found safety in exile, but others died traitors' deaths, hung, drawn and quartered, and many after interrogation and torture. Not a pleasant place to be during the Tudor times. The Tower of London is a massive place, which is why we're covering different parts of it in different videos here on this channel. So if you're coming to London, you can decide which bits you want to go and see. Oh, by the way, the building on the left hand side is where the crown jewels are, but we can't go in there in film. It's a strictly no camera policy. And let's go back to more graffiti from times gone by around the Beauchamp Tower. We've constructed a number of different videos looking more in depth at different parts of the Tower of London, and I've put that playlist up in the top right hand corner for you. So if you click into that link, that will give you a list of all the different places that we've looked at, and we'll be adding to it more during the course of the year. So, what did you think of the Beauchamp Tower? Anything surprise you? Do let us know in the comments down below. And what was your favourite bit here in the tower? And hopefully you've seen some of our previous videos relating to the Tower of London. Right, now I'm going to leave you with a video up in the top right hand corner of our walk around the battlements here at the Tower of London, which gives you great views across London, but also it gives you great views into the Tower of London as well. So if you click on that, I'll see you in there.